Hello Indians, this is Zubair Ali Khan, fire forensic and engineering expert. Today again I am with one of the podcast series, number 5, dated 16/11/2024. This podcast series exploring the consumer court case outcomes from the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. This podcast aims to spread the knowledge on how our honorable court analyze cases at both macro and micro levels, delivering a justice that impact the consumer and the business alike. Dive into the landmark rulings, real-life case studies, and expert insight to stay informed and empowered. Subscribe now to explore the fascinating world of consumer law and consumer court cases with the help of AI. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the deep dive. Buckle up, because today we're going all the way to India.
Ooh, India. Sounds exciting.
It is actually. We're going to untangle this wild case. A business owner, bananas, a fire, and a whole insurance nightmare.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Bananas and insurance, that's a new one.
And get this, our source is straight from the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. It's like the top court for consumers in India, their actual legal document.
Wow, straight from the source. So we're getting the real deal here. What's the story?
All right, so picture this. Mr. Subramani V owns this business called Sri Venkateshwara Traders, all about ripening bananas.
Okay, so bananas are a big business in India. I never knew that.
Oh, yeah, huge. So July 10th, 2017, boom, disaster strikes, an electrical short circuit, a massive fire, and poof, his whole operation is toast.
Oh, man, that's awful.
Seriously, we're talking an 8,517 square foot building. Gone. 5 cold storage chambers packed with stock, up in smoke, all the plant and machinery fried.
That's a devastating loss. A whole livelihood gone just like that.
The fire station officer's report confirmed it. Total devastation. But hey, that's what insurance is for, right?
You would think so, yeah.
Mr. Subramani, smart guy, had 2 policies with SBI General Insurance. A decent amount of coverage. So he filed 2 claims, one for all the lost stock, and another, way bigger, for the building, the machinery, basically everything else.
So SBI coughed up the dough, right? Paid out the claims.
Well, hold on, there's a twist. They did a partial settlement, but there was this huge chunk of money still in dispute, and that's where things get messy.
Uh-oh, sounds like a legal battle brewing.
You got it. Enter the surveyor, Mr. Sai Prakash K., the insurance company's guy, sent to assess the damage and decide the payout.
Right, the surveyor is the one who figures out how much the insurance company actually has to shell out.
Exactly. But Mr. Subramani cried foul. He claimed the surveyor was playing dirty, deliberately lowballing the assessment to protect the insurance company's bottom line.
Ooh, so he's saying the surveyor was biased, trying to help the insurance company wiggle out of paying the full amount.
That's exactly his argument. He accused the surveyor of pulling shady tactics, like excessive depreciation, basically undervaluing everything that went up in smoke.
So like saying a piece of equipment is worth way less than it actually is because it's old.
You got it. And here's another thing that didn't sit right with Mr. Subramani, the surveyor. He brought in a chartered accountancy firm to assess the value of all that lost stock.
I can see why that might raise some eyebrows.
Right. Like, is there a conflict of interest here? So let's dig into some specific examples of these discrepancies, the stuff Mr. Subramani claimed versus what the surveyor allowed. This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, lay it on me. What kind of discrepancies are we talking about?
Well, take the building repairs, for example. Mr. Subramani submitted a hefty claim for fixing the whole place.
Yeah, rebuilding after a fire like that can't be cheap.
You'd think. But the surveyor slashed that amount, way down. His reasoning. Some repairs, like the concrete work, weren't needed because the fire didn't touch the roof or the lintel.
Seriously. That seems incredibly picky, especially considering the whole place was basically an inferno.
Right. Like, come on. And then there's the ripening unit itself, the heart of the whole operation. The surveyor used a quote from the original supplier to determine the replacement cost. Seems reasonable, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, and this is a big but, he totally missed this crucial detail. The quote didn't even include GST, the goods and services tax.
Oh, wow. So a tiny little detail could cost Mr. Subramani a fortune. What about the stock valuation? That's where the chartered accountancy firm came in, right?
There you go. They looked at historical data and decided most of the stock was probably apples, just like in previous years. so they use that to calculate the value.
But hold on a sec. What if the actual stock was different that year?
Exactly. That's a huge problem. They completely ignored the possibility that the stock composition at the time of the fire could have been totally different.
So it seems like Mr. Supermani's up against a wall here. Is there any hope for him? Does the surveyor's report actually hold any water, legally speaking?
That's the million-dollar question, and we'll find out the answer to that right after the break. And we're back with the deep dive, still unraveling this wild case of a banana ripening business owner in India versus his insurance company.
Yeah, a real nail-biter. Last we heard, the surveyor seemed to be playing fast and loose with the numbers, and we were wondering if the courts would actually buy it.
Right, like can a surveyor just decide on a whim what to pay out? So what happened? Did the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, the NCDRC, side with the insurance company or Mr. Subramani?
Well, they didn't fully side with either, actually. It's kind of interesting. The NCDRC partially upheld Mr. Subramani's complaint. They did award him some extra money plus interest on top of what the insurance company had initially offered.
Or a partial victory for our banana king.
You could say that.
Yeah.
The NCDRC basically said, hold up, that surveyor's report isn't the gospel truth. They saw there were some holes in the assessment and that Mr. Subramani deserved more.
So what did they specifically call out? Did they address the stuff we talked about earlier, like the building damage and that missing GST on the ripening unit?
Oh, they absolutely did. They pointed out the discrepancies and how the building damage was evaluated. And yeah, they caught that GST thing with the ripening unit replacement. They even flagged the depreciation deductions as being way too harsh.
Nice. Sounds like the NCDRC is sending a message to insurance companies everywhere. You can't just lowball payouts and expect to get away with it.
Right. It highlights how important it is for these assessments to be fair and impartial.
I bet this case is giving policyholders everywhere a bit more courage to stand up for themselves, knowing they have legal options if they feel cheated by their insurance company.
Absolutely. This case really showcases that power. But there's another layer to this case that we can't ignore. Remember that whole thing with the chartered accountancy firm? The one the surveyor brought in to value the stock?
Oh, yeah. The thing that seemed a little shady.
Mm.
And Mr. Subramani never even got a copy of their report, so he couldn't challenge their findings.
Exactly. And the NCDRC actually called out this lack of transparency. It's interesting, though, they also said both sides were kind of sloppy in how they presented their cases. Apparently, the fire officer's report was missing from the documents submitted to the court.
Whoa, wait a minute. The fire officer's report?
Yeah.
That's like crucial evidence. How could they miss that? Especially the insurance company.
It does make you wonder, right? It really raises questions about how thoroughly they investigated this claim in the first place.
So this brings up a bigger issue, doesn't it? Like, how do we make this whole insurance assessment process more transparent and fair? We need some serious safeguards in place.
Couldn't agree more. We need clear guidelines and regulations, something to protect both policyholders and the insurance companies.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of safeguards are we talking about? What can we do to ensure a level playing field for everyone involved?
Well, first off, we could look into establishing some standardized protocols for these surveyor assessments, maybe even implement a peer review system.
I like that, like a checks and balances kind of thing to keep everyone honest. What else?
And transparency is key. Policyholders should absolutely have access to all the information used to calculate their payouts. They need to see the evidence, understand the reasoning behind any deductions. It shouldn't be this big mystery.
Yeah, no more smoke and mirrors from the insurance companies.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the role technology can play here. Think about blockchain, creating tamper-proof records of every transaction, every assessment. That could revolutionize transparency and accountability in the insurance industry.
That's a brilliant idea. So we're talking about a future where technology helps level the playing field, making insurance more equitable and user-friendly for everyone.
Exactly. No more confusing jargon or procedures. Policyholders would have access to tools that break it all down, explain their rights, even provide real-time updates on their claim status.
You know, it's amazing how we started with this one case in India, a fire in a banana ripening unit, and now we're talking about potential solutions that could impact the entire global insurance industry.
It just goes to show, sometimes these seemingly isolated incidents can expose systemic issues that need our attention.
This whole conversation has been incredibly eye-opening. This isn't just about bananas in a fire. It's about fairness, accountability, and the need to make the insurance industry work better for everyone. It feels like we've only scratched the surface here. Are we ready to dive deeper and explore some concrete solutions in Part 3? Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been peeling back the layers of this insurance saga, haven't we? From a banana ripening business in flames to the complexities of surveyor assessments.
And it's amazing how this one case has brought to light issues that impact, well, potentially everyone who's ever dealt with insurance.
Absolutely. It's about more than just bananas and fires. It's about fairness and making sure the system works for all of us, not just the big insurance companies.
Exactly. It's about leveling that playing field.
So let's brainstorm, shall we?
Yeah.
We've talked about standardized protocols for surveyors, peer reviews, maybe even using blockchain. What else can we do to make insurance more equitable?
Well, imagine this. What if policyholders could have their own expert, someone on their side to review the insurance company's assessment?
Ooh, I like that. Like a second opinion, but from someone who's actually looking out for the policyholder's best interest.
Exactly. It would empower individuals, especially small businesses, that might not have the resources to challenge a complex insurance report on their own.
That's brilliant. It's all about giving people the tools and knowledge to navigate this often confusing world of insurance. And what about technology? Can we harness that to make the claims process more transparent?
Oh, absolutely. Think about blockchain technology, creating a tamper-proof record of every step, from the initial claim to the final payout.
So no more shady backroom deals. Everything's out in the open, transparent, and accountable.
Exactly. And we could even use AI, artificial intelligence, to analyze all that data, maybe even flag potential inconsistencies or biases in surveyor reports.
Whoa, so AI could be like our insurance watchdog, sniffing out any unfair practices. I love it.
That's the idea. And imagine this. A user-friendly platform where policyholders can track their claim status in real time, get clear explanations, and even access resources